All right, we're going to kind of give everybody a little bit of an update on the work Jason's been doing and whatnot. I know that he has done a little bit of the tube work up in this area. We tacked on just a random shock mount just where we could do some flex testing because Radflo's developing these shocks, looking at getting all we can out of the front clevis. The clearance on the front axle shaft and stuff's really tight. So
yeah, they were looking for a number, and
they sent us a print of what the shock actually looks like, the prototype or whatever else, and then we actually kind of took those numbers, put them in real world, spun it around, flexed the front of the chassis to where we can give them back something real on that. Biggest thing that I see on the car from the last video to now, the car's got a top on it. So you put our spare Alpha seats in the car that we've got here at the shop, and then helmet, and then made sure we've got all the roof clearance and everything else. So like, that's one of my favorite things about building a car like this is whenever you've got that belt line, you can put the roof on it after a few things are mounted, and you make sure you've got great head clearance with doing that.
Yeah, we jumped up in there, I put a helmet on with my pumper and everything, set a level off my head, and had Sam measure me out before he went home for the day, and he cut me loose on modifying the drawing just a little bit. I actually added a little bit more headroom into it because I don't want to have any chances of it not passing tech or honestly just hitting my head. So
I don't want to hit my head. And then honestly, a lot of the helmets you get now, the pumper port has moved to the top on a lot of your helmets, and I used to always run the pumper ports on the side. I actually like the top one, the way it runs the air through it, but you got to have a little bit more head clearance to do that.
After talking with the guys at Pyrotech at PRI, like, he actually said that they're way more efficient as a top pump deal.
I don't know. Silly as it may seem, like the one that comes in the side chapped my lips like no other. Like, it was bad because you're just blowing that air straight in here, and they say the other ones come up and just cover your face, so it's pretty awesome. That being said, I know you've been waiting on a bunch of parts. Looks like some stuff showed up, but you've been putting the body on, which is kind of like we would generally fab everything before we do that, but just the timeline and everything else with this build, I know it's going to that. Light bars mounted.
Bunch of electrical stuff got tossed in here, like we've got horns mounted, lights and backup cameras and stators, and
absolutely, like fuel pressure gauge I'm seeing right here and stuff. And I know that like this fuel tank idea, we did it when we did Hubert's build, and that's buy a plastic shell that's certain size, kind of affordable. Then to pass tech, we build an enclosure and a bladder for it, so it passes tech as a bladdered cell because we are having a plastic fuel cell in a can that is mounted. So all of it passes tech, but we get to actually do it for a lot less money in a cell that you can't necessarily buy with a bladder around it. So
yeah, it saves quite a bit of money. And the cool thing is too, it gives us the adjustability of, like, I can put the fill port where I want, I can put the actual pickup and everything else for it, because it's going to have 2 fuel pumps in it, and you know, a return that goes in, then it's got to have check valves and everything else to pass tech. So
it lets us do that with a blank canvas here that we're not built into anything, but it's actually a really affordable deal. So that's pretty awesome. Let's bust open these boxes, see what all showed up. Before we get to that, I know the tires did show up. Tell everybody about the tires on this thing. I know you went to a 37.
Yeah, I got with OBOR and talked to them about a lightweight 37 that fit a 15-inch wheel. I'm pretty keen on running the 15-inch wheel. I didn't really want to step to the 17.
I don't blame you.
It's like you and 20s on the buggies. You love the 17 on the buggies versus the 20, and I'm kind of in the same boat. And then this tire, I know a couple other people that have already ran it. Kyle Smith finished KOH in last year, I think the year before, on this tire in a 35. So I got a pretty good feeling about it. I think the extra ground clearance and rocks is going to help out a ton, and just the additional speed I think we'll pick up on the top end from having a taller tire in the desert will be sweet. Yeah.
I don't disagree with you there one bit. And then Raceline come on with that 5-lug pattern, but the right offset. I know that you were really pretty picky on which offset and everything else we want to go on this car. And I love this design on the wheel. Like, literally, whenever I did the wheels for my car, the wheel that I would have bought off the shelf really looked a lot like that. And I mean,
I'm picky about wheels. I'm a wheel and tire guy.
You are a wheel
I change wheels and tires on my daily driver trucks about once every 12 to 18 months. But
yeah, so that's a good looking wheel and tire combo. the tire wheel 37. I know that you moved a bunch of this from the original design that I had going on, because like when we did Hubert's, I think it had 35s maybe, right?
Hubert's was on 32s.
Was it really?
Yeah, Hubert's and the little green one were on 32s, and then blue was the first one we stepped up to the 35.
Okay. So I remember like in this area, when I had designed out in that area, it was like the 32. We actually had to move a little bit of stuff around to make the 32 clear. So we moved a lot of stuff. And I think the wider track width, just the machines are getting bigger.
The machines are getting bigger and bigger. And like with this going to a production platform, and 32s are the new 30s, 35s the new 32s, 37s the new 35.
Yeah.
It's like we had to make sure that you were already planned out to let it go. This thing actually, CAD's saying it will clear a 39 on this chassis.
That's pretty crazy.
So
that's like even hard for me to even think that a 39 would even be an option on a side-by-side chassis.
I remember when 30s were the big deal, when everybody went from 20s to 30s, and it was like, wow.
Absolutely. Cool. Let's pop these boxes open, see what all come in here in your stack of stuff. Winch rope. So we are going to do the RC9 on it, but the RC9 comes with 50 foot of 3/8 rope, right? You went with Custom Splice, sent us some. What size rope is this? 5/16?
That's 5/16, and it's 100 foot.
100 foot of 5/16 if we're going to try to get onto that short drum winch, because that little buggy with a 9,000 pound winch on it is going to be like, it should take it anywhere it wants to go,
and fast,
and pretty fast. And then this being stepping the line size down to actually get more line on it is going to be pretty cool. Wheels, you already popped them open, you couldn't really contain yourself, had to throw one on a wheel, because that's just what guys do when they get new toys.
Yeah, it was 4 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It had to happen.
Yeah. PRP stuff here. So this is our quick release hub. Man, we changed one of these out for Richard, and this thing is tighter than anything else that I've really used as far as.
This is supposed to be their bolt-in kit too, where it doesn't have to get welded in, which I was kind of excited about, because I all the time having to cut these Polaris columns in half. And
so that's pretty awesome. It does have a little tiny fine spline in there, so it just bolts onto the column. Man, all this feels just so nice.
Actually, I've been interested to see the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Looks like Christmas around this.
I know, it's pretty awesome to see everything come in right now.
Keep the carbon fiber in the middle.
I do like that. So what's cool with you that I'm not used to is you're running on a steering rack. So like you'll actually be able to turn back to center and get it. Like when I put this in a buggy with hydraulic steering, it never really wants to. The wheel never centered.
You end up upside down half the time.
So that's a great looking wheel. What diameter is that?
Should be a 12.5 or a 13, I think.
Gotcha.
I have to look back at the paperwork.
Let's hang out here. So PRP this year too, I don't know if it's a this year thing, but so this is really cool. I don't know a lot of people have seen these. These are ratcheting seat belts. So you actually put a ratchet in here, and whenever you get in that seat, it's about like tightening down a trailer. Is you reach over and you ratchet yourself in, and man, you talk about a game changer as far as control and everything else in the vehicle. That's probably one of my favorite mods that you can do to a rig, is put a set of those in a race car for sure.
Oh, I drove Porterfield's IFS car out there in the desert, and being able to like drop down in the seat and click, click, click. You don't move.
Get one or two more clicks. Like,
yeah,
and then
nobody can pull up tight as you can get that.
No, they can't. That's the other thing, is like, so whenever you're pulling tight at the start line and then you run 20 miles, you've already loosened up just a little bit, and you can't pull the thing down tight.
No.
You reach down mid-race or whenever, trail ride, mid-race, whatever, and click you another click. Other thing I love is they've got out these 2-inch harnesses now, but these come out so you can run with your neck restraint. Running that with your
either your Hans, or like I'm going to be running the Simpson hybrid.
You decide on doing the hybrid deal.
Yeah.
I've wondered what I know me and you had talked. I know what I told you I'd wore and stuff, and I enjoyed.
Your input, and I talked to a couple other racer buddies, and they're all like, "This is the go-to." Like, it doesn't feel like you have it on. So
yeah.
With the ratcheting belt, does the tool stay attached to it, or do you?
Yes, it does. It's got a little set screw. So if you look right here, see that set screw? So as you put this in, you actually take an Allen wrench and tighten that set screw down. So then it actually stays in all the time. And then you just click the ratchet whichever way you want to go. And that way it hangs out.
All right, it's really exciting, kid, on Christmas time now.
Yeah, like for real.
I've been dying to see.
I'm freaking excited to see these bad boys right here.
So
It can only
My
be
favorite part about PRP is like you get on their little designer thing, and it's cool. You kind of see it happen on the computer screen. You're like, this looks good. This looks good.
So if you've never built a set of custom PRP seats on their website, like just go play with it. Because if you do, you'll end up buying a set of seats just because all their seats they've got rigged up on their website where you can pick all these different colors and the band colors and the back color, and you'll get lost in it, stitching color and everything else. So like, what'd you end up with? What we looking at here? We got some hot pink.
No pink.
No hot pink.
We went gangster.
We went gangster.
We went Johnny Cash straight gangster. Is where I went. Oh, and it turned out that way too.
Yeah, it did.
Crocodile and carbon fiber.
That's yeah.
we're gonna be matching out there, Jason.
That does look pretty good,
He
man.
ain't got no carbon fiber.
Nah. He did straight crocodile in his, didn't he?
I think he's got that and then regular black Daytone, I think.
Ah, man, their stuff looks so good always. So yeah. All right. We already talked about why we chose the Alpha. It's a great containment seat. Everybody else on the market, like when we've been to all these different things, like one thing that really sets PRP apart is you can generally get a custom seat or you can generally get a race seat, but nobody blends a custom race seat. And that's the thing that they do. And honestly, the best part about it is it doesn't add any more to the cost.
Yeah, it's just there.
It's just an option that's already there. So like, dude, that's awesome. So cool. Now you'll be able to put them in there, finalize mounts with the real seat that you got and the real bottom and everything
It's
else.
actually going to let me get the pedals final place with the steering wheel and the disconnect. I can set the steering column,
Yep.
and that frees up the final and out the dash designs that got a little bit on. I know you were looking at it this morning and kind of give me a couple of pointers on what you've seen and what you didn't like, what you did like.
Absolutely. It all looked good. But people, when we're talking about like filing stuff out, like doing a build like this, doing it on this kind of deadline, it's real easy to overbuild or get ahead of yourself. Like saying, hey, I want to go on and throw all the pedals in it. I've got a seat sitting in here, whatnot. Man, you generally end up backing up after you do that kind of stuff. So like we built enough rigs and kind of trying to do it smart enough to where we can do enough work that it just sets us up to do the next amount of work, but we're really trying not to go backwards on this thing. Like the deadline that he's on, there's no backwards work, no real time in it to go backwards. So.
No, and with it being an Ultra 4 car, there's a lot going in the dash on this one.
Yeah.
GPS, camera screens. I got to be able to reach the battery switch.
Yes.
A bunch of switches that have to go off in there to control the vehicle, the shifter, but you got to be able to reach everything ratchet strapped into a seat.
Oh, I know.
So not trying to draw the dash and get too far, just sitting in a mock-up seat. I'm like,
You can't really just tell if it's there or not. But now you'll be able to put that in, put the steering wheel in place, the tilt column in place, set the gauges in there exactly where you want to be. Now you can actually start setting some stuff up and getting it done. I know you've started burning out on the front A-arms. The trailing arms and stuff should be hand delivered here this weekend. Yeah, it's one of them deals. It's an update. Looks like a lot's happening and a lot is happening, but then we both still feel the stress of what's coming and everything else. I know that spare tire carriers on, rear bumpers on the car, chase light on the back, spotlight on the front. I guess, man, the parts are rolling in, so that's getting a little bit excited. I know Radflo's got the shocks. That's one of the things that's like, I know that's going to be kind of down to the bit, but I know they're pretty excited about all the testing they've been doing on that shock, and they think they can have you showing up to the hammers with a good tune to start with.
Yep.
And then I know you're going out a little bit earlier, and then we talked to Eibach about getting the right springs on the car and everything else.
yeah, waiting on sway bars from them too. So
Yeah, gonna go back
I'm
and do
excited
this sway
to
bar.
I'm excited to have an adjustable sway bar in it, and
Me too. That was something I didn't realize it was coming, and then it's coming now.
Yep.
So that's awesome. All right, man. Yeah, cool. Jump on it, get to work. Plenty here to be done.
yes sir.